Fighting Irish Media also has a collection of the top 10 rough touchdown plays, but we're going straight to number one in the history of Notre Dame football, and that's the one and only Reggie Brooks. Take a look.
The option. Brooks on the pitch. Hit. Breaks free. Brooks. Touchdown.
Watch and enjoy. Corwin Brown missing the tackle, nearly down another time, keeps his feet. Now watch right here at the goal line. Hit right on the helmet and literally lost consciousness for a moment, lost the football. Fortunately for him, he was in the end zone. A huge ovation and well-deserved.
I remember that game. I remember that hit. I'm not sure if the person with the football remembers the hit. Joining us now is that person, former Notre Dame All-American running back Reggie Brooks. Reggie, welcome to the fight, my man.
Thanks for having me. Why couldn't we use the Penn State one? That was a lot more exciting, and I was conscious. I would have definitely preferred that one over the Michigan one. And I know it's an exciting play, but getting knocked out is not cool.
No,
it's not cool at all.
That's why I agree with you. That's why I'm very sensitive with that stuff. In today's age, when you see it, you sort of cringe. I mean, when you look back at it, how do you react?
Again, I remember very little about that game just because of, back then it was, you just got your bell rung. I just remember coming to and Jim Russ was out there with the smelling sauce and, he had to put up the fingers and that whole game was a blur after that.
Yeah. Many may not know this about you, Reggie, but when you were recruited to Notre Dame, you were recruited as a defensive back by Lou Holtz, and then you found your way to the other side of the field. How did that happen?
Originally, I came in as an athlete. So that was one thing about Coach Holtz. He was pretty big on recruiting guys that could play both sides of the ball. I hadn't played defensive back in high school except since freshman year in high school. So it was one of those deals where, they didn't recruit any defensive backs the year I came in. So it was a kind of a gap, and we lost, several guys coming in my freshman year that were going as I was going into my sophomore year. You had Todd Light, who was still there, Pat Terrell, who was graduating, Stan Smagala graduating, Rod Smith. So we didn't have a lot of depth, and they recruited a lot of freshmen. So it was one of those deals where, you kind of, have an opportunity to get on the field. I said, yeah, I play DB. I'll do whatever it takes to play and get out there and have an opportunity to play. So I transitioned, got on the field as a defensive back, started a few games, but really realized pretty quick that's not where I wanted to play.
Well, you were so good, and there was so much talent on those teams. You just referenced some of the names. It's just comforting to hear the names from our era of Notre Dame football. All right, so Reggie, it was announced earlier this year that you're going to be leaving your role at the university to head up the Holtz's Heroes Foundation. What can you tell us about that?
It's an organization that's geared around supporting the pillars that we learned while we were here under Coach Holtz, trust, love, and commitment, and really taking those lessons learned as former student athletes and applying them to everyday life and supporting our communities where we are. That group, Coach Holtz was here for 10 years. And, you had Tim Brown on earlier, had Jerome on earlier. So it was a wide breadth of guys that played under him. And, and Tim kind of referenced a few of the guys that he keeps in touch with. So my role will be bringing that broader group together and also pushing the initiatives of the different foundations and activities of our former players that played under Coach Holtz, but really just getting into the community, providing leadership and guidance. And in that area, Bread of Life Food Drive, we work closely with them. And then the scholarship piece of the opportunity to go and get a scholarship and raise funds to do for our communities and do for our former players and be that community that we learned to be while we were at Notre Dame, to take that forward in our lives beyond our time at Notre Dame. So it's a lot of, outreach and connecting former players, but we see this as an opportunity to go beyond just, the guys that played for Coach Holtz. We want to engage, our family members, our friends, because Notre Dame is just that, a family. And, wherever we can promote that family is something we want to do, and do at a high level.
Well, I'm sure you're going to thrive in that role. So congratulations. Before you go, though, game time, Saturday night. What's it going to take? What's it going to take the second time around against Clemson?
Well, I still think you got to stop number 9. I know everybody kind of focuses in on Trevor Lawrence, but the individual that makes that offense run is Travis Etienne. I mean, he's a quiet young man, but a tremendous running back. He's great out of the backfield, great runner between the tackles. It's going to be imperative that we stop him and contain him, and just we're going to have to step up and make some plays on the back end as defensive backs against Trevor Lawrence, and we got to tackle him. We can get to him, but it's not that it's one thing to get to him, it's another thing to get him on the ground. So when we have a chance to get a sack and make a tackle on Trevor Lawrence, we have to hit him consistently, and we have to stop Travis Etienne. And it always comes back to the fundamentals. We have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. Those are the two things. If we can accomplish that, we'll be successful. And we have an offensive line that I feel is second to none, and three running backs that have absolutely been phenomenal. And I would have to say 4 running backs, because Ian Book has been, on his game, and he's going to be the linchpin for us of forcing that defense to play honest, play our run game honest, and when he gets outside on the edge, making plays with his feet is going to be critical for us to have success against this defense.
Reggie, you're the best, my man. Thanks for being with us tonight on The Fight.
Thank you.